All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the chat. So, you guys can probably see in the title on Tuesday, I'm not sure that I'm going to be here. I don't know that I can do the live stream on Tuesday. So, I thought I'd hop on, do a little chat in here tonight. And then if Tuesday happens or it doesn't happen, it's no big deal. We had our little time here tonight. But a few things on my mind. I want to make sure you got them. And anyways, welcome to the chat. We're going to go through a few things. I have my notes and everything. I'm ready to rock and roll, but I want to give folks just a minute or two just to kind of catch up. So good evening. I see you in the chat. Wyatt, good evening, man. You are so steady on these live streams. Thank you so much for showing up, man. Appreciate it. Bruce, good evening. It's good to see you again. Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the local thing going on at Lewistown, and also I'm going to talk a bit about Lake Erie, because that's, believe it or not, that's really just right in front of us. It's not too far out, and I'll get into that just a little bit, just a few minutes here. But let's give folks just a couple minutes to kind of see that there's a live on tonight. It's an odd day to be doing this, so I want to give them just an extra moment here just to kind of catch up and stuff. But those of you who have caught me right from the get-go here, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys jumping right on the live stream, man. This is awesome. I'm really enjoying these live streams. They're becoming part of one of my favorite things through the week, and I feel the love, guys. I really do. Thank you. Appreciate that. Buck, good evening. Good evening. We're going to be talking about them salt buckets. You know it. Good evening. Wyatt says, I'd like to learn more than what I know of fishing for different species. I think that's the song we all sing, man. If you're a multi-species fisherman, that's the attitude you got to have. So, commend you for that. Tip of the hat for having a good attitude. I find folks who oftentimes they misrepresent what a multi-species fisherman is, though. So we need to be careful about that. There's a lot of folks out there that might say, I'm a multi-species fisherman, which means they'll fish for everything except for bass. And you know what I mean? It's like they want to make sure that they're excluded from that crowd. I've never been that. I'm a big bass fisherman. I truly am a multi-species fisherman. I'm happy to chase all of it. And so I am truly a multi-species fisherman. Don't ever shut down a species or anything. You know, just make sure that you learn it all. It's all fishing. It's all a good time. A true multi-species fisherman chases the whole spectrum of fish. But good evening. Do that. And I'm going to get into this. I think this is probably about how many folks are coming. And if we get a few more along the way, all the better. It's no big deal. But good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. I'll start off with my two simple rules, right? It's participate. That's say something in the chat, do a thumbs up or share. But if you don't want to do any of that and you just want to hang out and lurk, as my buddy Mark OnlyFins would say, you just want to watch from the sidelines, viewership actually drives the algorithm as well. So all of that is good input. I'm just glad you're here. Thank you for that support. So, as per the title, Lake Erie. There's a reason I wanted to get this one in as early as it is in the season. Lake Erie is one of those fisheries. It's close enough to us at in the Lewistown community that it's within striking distance. Me personally, it takes me about 4 hours to get from my house to the lake, and that essentially means that I could drive up in the morning and be out catching walleye before lunchtime. So it's not any stretch of within reason. It's within reason to expect people to be able to go up and fish the fishery. As a businessman, I'm trying to think of ways to make this more possible or easier so that folks can actually put this into their regular schedule, like once a year, just go up and fish the big lake, you know? And so the biggest holdup I personally had with fishing Lake Erie, it kept me from going up to fish the lake. Number one, barring nothing, the biggest thing, it wasn't the cost of gas to drive up. because it's really not that far. It wasn't the license, because I already have that. You just need to get the stamp. It's the lodging. The lodging up around Lake Erie can be really expensive. So what I've done is I've given you an option now. If you want to go get a hotel room, do your thing. You can stay up at Erie however you want. But while you're up there on one of my charters, I'm going to set up my big tent. And it's just going to be at a campground. It's got all the amenities, got the bathrooms, the showers, all that stuff. When you come up, you have the option. You can stay at the camp where I'm camped out, because I'll probably go up for like a week. It might even be longer than that, depending on, my schedule. But I'll be up for a few days in a row. So if you come up to do the charter, you can stay right at the camp, and it doesn't cost me anything to have a guest at the camp. So lodging is essentially free. And we'll just hang out, we'll talk fishing and stuff the night before, and then we'll go fishing in the morning, or whatever it is, whatever schedule we work out and such. But Lake Erie is a big deal. I think it's within reason. We should be able to get out and do that fishing. And by knocking the lodging right off the top, it's going to save you a boatload of cash. So you can work it into your schedule now. I think you can. If it was something that was within reason for you, lodging might have had you held up. So I tried to handle that a little bit. And if anybody has any other thoughts, another way to do that, I'm all ears, because I want to make this more accessible for our Racetown community. So, camping, that's the answer. Now, I have, I have a little bit of camping stuff, mostly just for me or my kids and such. So when you come up, you'd want to bring like a cot and a sleeping mat, sleeping bag, bring your stuff to sleep in, but don't feel like you're going to be uncomfortable. So we're going to be in out of the elements. I'll have my heater. We might not even need it, though, because, I'm talking about fishing up there in the summer and stuff. But it'll be good just to hang out. It'll be like a little mini event, and then we'll go out and we'll fish the big water together. So that's my ideas for Lake Erie. Now, I want to talk about a few things. When you're going up to Lake Erie, it's different. It's very different than Raystown. If you go to Raystown Lake, there's really nothing that's going to keep you from getting on the water. I'm telling you, it could be the worst storm, and you could still go out on the water. Exception to that, I guess, would be lightning. But I'm talking about wind and waves. There's really nothing at Raystown Lake that would scare you off the water. Lake Erie is a different beast. That lake can get absolutely angry. And it takes one wave to put your boat at the bottom of the lake. So, let's not be involved in that dance. The reason I'm pointing that out is when you schedule a trip for Lake Erie, what I'm asking folks to do is keep a block of time open in their schedule. What that means is, let's say they want to go up and they have a specific date on. Say it's a Wednesday. What I'm going to suggest they do is they keep Tuesday and Wednesday open. So they travel up on Tuesday and plan to spend the night and the day Wednesday, and then travel back home Wednesday. The reason for that is now that gives you a solid 48-hour period of time that we can work a fishing trip in. The only reason that's going to come into play is if the water is going through some cycle there to where, you get a couple hours of heavy waves and then it kind of calms down and gets a little bit flat and such. And then sometimes the water's flat. Sometimes it is. It's rare, but sometimes it does get flat. And it's hopeful, it's optimistic to think that it's going to be like that whenever you come up, but I know the reality is it just isn't going to always be that way. But check this out. I'm going to share this with you here. I made it up to Erie, and I've actually been busy. I just picked up a fish. I just picked up a fish. I have a feeling it's going to be like this, guys. Look at the water behind me. There you go. About 20 inches. So both downriggers have 3 lures on them, and that's all I'm running. I'm only running these 2 downriggers. I just don't see any reason to run more. I'm busy enough. I'm okay if I don't catch a limit tonight. That's not what it was about. It's wild that it can get that water's flat. It can. Flat. I couldn't pass it up. So I just got into town, threw a couple of these lures down. We got a couple walleye in the bucket already. That's a good sign. It's going to be a good couple days, man. Hang out with me. anyway, so you guys can go to my channel. You can watch the rest of that video if you want to, but I want to just point out that it does lay down from time to time. However, that's the exception. That's not the rule. It is the exception. So when you come up, it's good to keep a block of time open. That's 2 days if you can. And what I will do from my end is I'll communicate with you. So if you go and you book a trip, and I should show you here, when you go to my site here, you just go to randallrydes.com right there, and there's the Fishin tab. And you guys probably all know this. You've already looked at it. Right at the top, if you wanted to book fishing at Lewistown, that's the top one, and then Lake Erie is right here. And you can tell it's Lake Erie because I'm holding a very handsome walleye. So that's where you go to book it. But if you book a trip up there, do it, and basically you guys could even put a message in the live stream if you guys want to do this. If you want to save a date, put it into the comments section there in the chat, and I will save it for you, and then shoot me a message or something, and I'll work it out for you. But block out those 2 days, so when you come up to Lake Erie, we have some flexibility. But what I'll do on my end is I'll watch the weather, and I'll try to give you so much heads up. Like, let's say you get a hotel room or something, I'll talk to you about, like, what's their cancellation policy. Do they need, like, 5-day cancellation notice or something, non-refundable deposits and all that stuff. So we'll talk about that, and I'll do my best to try and work within their parameters too. If you need to know 5 days out, I'll do my best to predict it 5 days out. But it's really good if you keep a window there, a large block of hours that we can work with. So those are the 2 things right now. And if there's more I can do, guys, throw it at me. I'm all ears. I'm still trying to find ways to make this easier and easier. Wyatt, so $450 is for the boat. That's for the boat. I have weight restrictions on the boat, but I'm allowed to take up to 6 people, but we'll reach a weight restriction before we reach 6 people almost all the time, unless I'm taking children, you know what I mean? But that's for the boat. That's the charter. You're chartering the boat for the day. All equipment, all the knowledge, all that stuff. And if that's all you're paying for, you're not paying for lodging, other than gas to and from Erie. And I mentioned a few minutes ago, it's about 4-hour drive from my house. So I can top the tank off here in town and drive all the way up and still have gas. So it's a one shot for me. I would do that in one sitting, dragging the boat. But yeah, it's really within striking distance, and I think the price is right. It's tough to find a charter at Erie for that low of an expense. So I think that's reasonable. But there's a couple things. Okay, so we got the camping, the blocked out time, and I want to talk about the downtime. So if you're going to come up and there's going to be a block of hours that you're there, make no mistake, there's things to do in Erie. And I'm not talking about like twiddling your thumbs or going to, going out to the restaurant again. That's not what I'm talking about. Fish USA is right around the corner. It's about 10 minutes from the dock, and this is the actual Fish USA. So all of their stock that you might go online to order, it all comes from this warehouse. And they have a shop there and everything, and so you get things a little bit cheaper, and it's just a cool shop, and it's right there. So it's definitely attractions. That's an attraction you could go stop. It's not an attraction. It's a great shop. If you're a Harley guy like me, there's a Harley dealership in town. Of course, there's food out the wazoo, and they have Presque Isle Bay as well. So if you want to go check out the bay where they do all the ice fishing, which I'm going to touch on here during this stream, but Presque Isle Bay is incredible too. And that's only about 10 minutes from the dock. So there's a lot up there to fill your time. There's hiking trails all around Presque Isle too. You can really spend time out doing this, experiencing Erie, not to mention the campground. You can hang out with me. We'll go get a slice of pizza, sure. I know quite a few of the local restaurants up there now and the local tackle shops and such. I'll show you around. If the waves are too tall and we just cannot get the boat out there, You know, we got to wait a few hours until they calm down and such. I'll work through it with you. I'm going to enjoy my time while I'm there. So you can just hang out with me, man. We'll do good. We'll do our best anyways. So I want to talk about the biggest perceived negative is you book an event, a trip, and then the weather is just terrible. We got storms rolling in, winds are heavy, and there's no idea. It's not going to stop for 2 weeks. Well, it's simple. We're just going to reschedule. One, I prefer to just reschedule, of course. I think you probably would too. And number two, of course, I can do refunds. It's no big deal. If we can just reschedule and get back up there for a day that it's good, or, you know, I could do the refund and we can schedule another date. All of that stuff I'm completely flexible with, guys. It's no big deal. The idea here is to alleviate all that pressure and all the perceived negatives. The cool thing about having a business in a charter my size, it's just big enough that I'm as busy as I want to be, but I'm not so busy that I don't have flexibility. So I have a lot of flexibility, and I like that. I really like that. I hope I never lose it. So I'm going to pause right there. I got a bunch of viewers that are on now that weren't before, and I don't have to tell you. You guys already do that, and thank you. But welcome to the chat. I appreciate it. 2 simple rules, right? Just interact, hit the thumbs up, say hi in the chat. All that stuff drives the algorithm, and if nothing else, you're welcome to just hang out and watch, because viewership does the same thing. It helps an awful lot for the algorithm. Good. I'm going to slow down just for a moment. I feel like I'm doing a little motor mouth here. So welcome to the chat this evening, guys. Good evening. We had a heat up, a little warm up spell here. The ice is all gone, or most of it's all gone. Son of a gun, right? I'm still calling for February to be the ice fishing month. That doesn't mean that, the weather's going to listen to me. I don't have that kind of ability. But I remain optimistic. There's still a lot of time left. We could get some deep freeze and we could still get some ice. However, if that fails to happen, I'm still going to be fishing Foster Sayers in February. Yeah, I'm still going to go up and jig those fish up. And if you want to come with me, let's start talking. We'll get you up there on the water. It doesn't have to be on the ice. That is what I would have a preference for. But if it's not frozen, it's not frozen. I couldn't do the ice fishing trips whenever there was only about 4 or 5 inches of ice. You as an individual can do that. When I have my groups, though, and say there's like 10 of us out there where we're all kind of fishing real close to one another, I really need 8 inches of ice. I definitely need more than 4 inches, which is what Foster's had. So it just didn't make sense to schedule it, and I wasn't going to. It's a fishing trip, not a swimming trip, if you know what I mean. So put that on the side. It's okay. It's no big deal. There's still fishing to be had there, and it doesn't even have to be through the ice. So that's where my thoughts were on that. It's not off the table. We have an entire month, and February is traditionally a very cold month. So there's still a very good chance it could happen. But I had to put it on the back burner, and I'm sure you understand why. Safety, safety, safety. This is supposed to be a kids' fish jam. It's the ice jam at Foster Sayers. And I wasn't going to take kids up there and have it be anything less than fully safe. Very comfortable for everyone. I'm sure you guys understand that. I don't think that's a big deal. Good. So let me do this. I want to talk about fishing local. So if you let me just jump back in here. If you do you go to Randall Rydes and you do the Lewistown Lake fishing charter, the one here that's right at the top. This one is the one that I do right here at our local lake. These trips are what you should expect is a split trip. And a split trip is what I'm trying to explain when I say it's a split trip, is we're going to target multiple species. Typically at Lewistown Lake, the two, I'll say the big species that people typically target are lake trout and striped bass. So when you're targeting those fish, you can expect to catch some incidentals, some non-targets, and that could be everything from perch to muskie to catfish, bass, of course. So there's a lot of incidentals that can be caught as well. And I guess what I'm trying to say is whenever you go out, expect it to be a split trip, because I'm going to do my best, as any guide should. I'm going to do my best to put you on the fish. What fish? The ones we can catch. It's possible there could be some fish right over there that I just don't even know about it. But I know there's these right here. So we're going to target what I know we can get on. That makes the most sense. Every day of the week, if you go out fishing, you want to be on fish whenever you're doing it. That's 101 level. So when you come out, you can expect to start the day. We could be trolling live bait for striper, and then switch over to doing some vertical jigging or trolling for Lakers. And by all means, we could always, you guys, if you've been on a charter with me, once in a while, we'll just veer off. We'll go jig up some perch while we're out there too. So it's a lot of fun to just be on the water, but it's a lot more fun if you're on fish, and that's going to be the target. I think that's the target of most of the charters on the lake, but it's easy whenever we get out there to get like horse blinders on. There's one thing we're after, one thing only. If you want to do a trip like that, just communicate with me. Usually that's a much more mature fisherman, and they understand that it can be very slow for long periods of time. The idea is to have some kind of movement, if you will. For most folks, that's what they want. Good evening, guys. What do you guys think of this Friday night stream? It's a different time, huh? Wasn't expecting it. Brock, I'm not doing any ride-along tickets. No, I don't have any days scheduled for that yet, but they are absolutely going to come down the pipe. They're absolutely. I love doing them. They're typically vertical jigging for lake trout. And I still do have a set of those lures available, but I can make more too. If you guys order a set of lures, I'll get them out to you within like 2 or 3 days or something like that. But yeah, absolutely, we can do a ride along thing. I would tell you this: if you call me and you say you and 3 of your buddies, that's 4 of you, all want to go jigging Lakers, well, guess what you just did? You just put together a charter that's more profitable than if I were to charter like a total stranger, right? So if you and your buddies, which would be 4 ride-along tickets, get together and just charter me, we'll go jig Lakers all day for the price of only 3 of you. So one of you essentially gets a free ride-along ticket. So if you want to do that, call up a couple of your buddies, and we'll just go do it. Flexibility, man, it's a great thing. At this level, we can do what we want to do. Thanks for asking that. It's a great question. The ride-along ticket has been incredible. It has been wonderful for my charter, and I'm really glad people are taking advantage of it. I've been able to incorporate it into the events, too. So Fishin' and Chillin', we got the ride-along ticket, just worked right into that. We're going to have Fishin' and Grillin' here at the end of March, and I'm going to do the ride-along tickets again for that. And not new, but I'm going to bring it back this year, is bank angling. Bank angling's coming back, boys. If you guys haven't watched my bank angling series, it's on YouTube there. It's on my channel. Go check it out. What I'm going to do is put together, again, this is very family-oriented stuff. It's a bank angling event, but while I'm set up, I'm going to do short, compacted ride-along events where I'll be at the bank angling event, and then we'll get a crew together, whoever's there that wants to go, pile on the boat, do the ride-along ticket, and we'll go out on the water, and we'll chase whatever it is we're going to chase. And then we'll come back, and we'll continue on with the bank angling event. So the ride-along tickets have been very good for the business, and you seem to really like it. It's an inexpensive way to get on a charter. So I think that's the biggest reason. I think that's why it's working out. So let me make sure that I'm not getting too far off track. So booking for Raystown, the reason I'm bringing that up is I am getting phone calls already about it. So if you want to claim a date, you can put it in the messages here or shoot me a text, shoot me a message on Facebook, whatever it is, just shoot a message with a date on it so that I can pencil it in. I can save that day for you, that slot of time for you. But communicate with me sooner rather than later, because it's that time of year when a lot of folks want to get on the water. And so if you're thinking about it, put together the day, talk to your crew or your spouse, whoever it is, and shoot me a message. Let me know. Don't hold off on this one. I'm going to try and be on the water a lot here in the month of April. So April and May are going to be busy months for me, and I don't mind doing that, but I'd like to have a schedule set up ahead of time as much as we can. That way I can, just logistics, I want to make sure that everything's in place for it, that I'm ready to rock and roll, and that you have the best chance to be successful when you show up too. So if you want to do that, pick a date and send me a message, and I'll save it for you. That's all you have to do. Just pick a date, and I'll save it for you. All right, so I'm going to pause there. I have one more thing that I want to absolutely cover before I covered everything on my list, but do you guys have anything on your mind? Any questions? We could talk, the ice bucket distribution did very good. So those buckets are out. People are using it, and it was a short time that they got to use it, but while it was out, it was effective, and you could tell it was being respected and people appreciated. So Brian Murphy, good evening. Good evening, Brian. Said you was out today using my lure in the green one and jigging the usual spot. And you had one in 4 minutes. Wow, that's great, man. Got halfway up and came off. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Oh, I've been there, bro. I mean, well, we've all been there, right? It's heartbreaking. Lakers have a really hard mouth. So if you guys haven't seen it, thank you for bringing it up. I appreciate it. I'm going to show you what he was using. Is this right here. So he was using the green lure. And these are the lures that I make if you're not familiar with them. This is the right hook. I'll tell you what. That hook is a stout hook. It's got a super sharp edge on it. And this lure is heavy. It's an 1.25 ounces plus. So it's a little bit heavier than 1.25 ounces. This hook is razor sharp, and it's got a strong steel to it. The wire that's used to make that hook is right. It's the right tool for the job. Think of it as like having the right broadhead on your arrow. It's the working end of that tool. It's a very important thing to have the right hook. These are the right hooks. Lakers, though, they have very strong, like cartilage, bony mouths. And when you set the hook, I can't stress it enough, guys. Bassmaster Classic, just wow, cross his eyes. You want that hook to find purchase. I mean, sink it. I don't care if it's in the cheek, in the corner, in the lip of the mouth. Send it. We had the picture on the load screen that says, before this video, it says stream starting soon. That's Cohen there. That fish, he tail hooked it. He tail hooked it. When he was jigging, the Laker must have got around it and he hooked it by the tail. Well, he set that hook. It found purchase, and it was a heck of a fight. You can imagine a tail hooked Laker. But he got it in, of course, and I don't know if he was using a green one or a white one, but he brought it in. Those hooks are right. I just can't stress that enough. When you load into one, don't be afraid to lean into it. So use a rod that's heavy enough that you can wrestle it a little bit and send it, okay? You can even do like a double hook set if you want, a triple hook set. But keep them buttoned up. Crank in, bring them in, and don't let them stay in the water too long. Feel like I'm on the boat talking with you. This is what I do. When you're out on the boat, I will coach you through it. And really, like, I want you to get that fish in the boat. Believe me, I do. So I'll be on you, and I'll be right there with you, working through it and such. But, Yeah, it gives you a reason to get back out for revenge. I love it. That's the right attitude. You go out, you don't make it happen, it's just a reason to do it again. Matthew Snyder, good evening. You say you can confirm these hooks are very heavy duty and yet somehow razor sharp. They are the right hook, man. Yeah, I searched for a couple years, a couple months anyways of, diligent searching, and I have a lot of trials and failures till I finally got that one. It's the right hook. Sure is. Man, soon, man. I'm gonna see people posting pictures. It's about that time, Something that's real classic is ice out Lakers. So as soon as the ice comes off the water, people will be out casting and just catching Lakers hand over fist. So the day is just in front of us. If you don't have a set of lures, order one. I'll get you a set. But the day is right in front of us. We're all going to go out there. We're going to be holding up fish with two hands and just grinning ear to ear, It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. If you're fishing, you're going to be losing fish. That's part of fishing. But let's do our best to keep them buttoned up so that we get more pictures, more fish in the boat. It was just that's less heartache and more smiles. That's what we're working toward. Man, very cool, very cool. Okay, guys, so I wanted to bring this up. Oh, right on. Yeah, before I jump into it, Brock said he got 4 today and 8 on Tuesday jigging. Awesome. That's great. You doing spinner rod or bait caster? I found that both are working, but I got to be honest, the spinner caster with a real light and small paddle tail was doing really good right up to, I didn't go out in January, so here we are in January. So up to the last time I was on the water. Fishing and chilling was the last time I actually jigged for them. But spinner rod, real light, little paddle tail, was getting it done. You could use a fluke with something a small body, relatively small. So you're using a spinning rod with a 3/8 head and a small swim bait. Yep, absolutely, man. Yep, that's what was working for me too. See, this is a beautiful thing because it's like confirmation. And that's what the community is about. You can go out and find something that's working, but you're not confident that it's the thing that you should be doing right now. Well, here you just had it. 2 people just told you. We independently found something that's working without talking to each other. And then we just confirmed it. So there you go. Proof is in the pudding, as they say. So here it is, guys. I got a message from a gentleman today. He's been very involved and very supportive of what we have going on. And he sent me a message today, and he was asking if I'd be interested in doing an event. So I'm putting this out to you. You guys, if you're watching, I want your feedback on this. And it goes like this. The date is April 28th. The rest is left. It's open for discussion. But here's the idea that my friend had. Is he wants to focus on the veterans. He wants to focus on getting the veterans on the boats. So the idea was to do something on April 28th there at the resort. And we don't have a spot picked out at the resort, just somewhere close to the resort. I recommended we could always do something at Tatman, but it'd be better if it was a little closer because they're going to prepare food. He said about pulled pork. I thought maybe if we got together, we could do kind of like a potluck thing, and he'll do some. He said he could do some games and stuff for us, and make a thing out of it. The reason I'm bringing it up with you guys, with the community, is because there's strength in numbers. If we can pull together and make this a thing, we can get together. This is a Sunday, April 28th, and we can get together and have like a potluck get together. And he said he'd do pulled pork for us. And it already sounds good, but it gets even better when he says he'd like it to focus on doing charters for veterans. So that's, if we put out like a donate bucket, or we do the games, the 50/50s and maybe some ripoffs or something like that. Whatever it is that we do, I think I'm putting it out there because I want to find out how much interest there is. Do you have any ideas, anything to build on? I don't do events like that myself. This is a little bit outside of my expertise. When I do an event, it's like, hey, I'm going camping. You guys want to show up? We went camping last time at Nancy's there. I didn't have anything to make coffee for everybody. I felt like a loser. So this will be a proper gathering of goons. But the purpose behind it, the message behind it would be to get the veterans fishing. There's a lot of veterans fishing groups out there, and there's a reason for that. Water time really is therapy time. Ask me how I know, right? You guys know that as well. If you get on the water, the reason we're passionate about it is we find something out there that we just love. And that is real therapy. It draws you out of the darker places in your mind, and it brings some optimism into your life. It's just a place to clear your head. It's all of those things. It's real therapy. Water therapy is very real. And I think that's the focus of my friend when he's talking about doing this. So April 28th is the date. It's Sunday. It doesn't even have a name yet. It's just an idea that's coming to the community from the community right now. And we can take this as far as we want to make it go, too. What I mean by that is, as far as the veterans and stuff, if we get enough to take, if we earn enough to take, 100 vets fishing, I can't put 100 vets on my boat. That would take a lot of effort. I'll call my charter buddies in. My charter brothers will come out in full force. Of course they would. They would love to take veterans fishing. So we can make this work. We can make this a huge thing. We can keep it intimate and kind of in the family, if you will. But any ideas at all, if you want to build on that, you don't have to come up with it now. I'd appreciate it, though, if you'd send me a message, if you have a link, if you have an idea that could build into this event to make it into something bigger than what I'm already talking about. Anything at all that comes to mind, just green room it. I don't care how crazy it sounds. Just if you have an idea, share it with me. Doesn't matter if it's bonkers or not. Let's talk about it anyway. You know what I mean? So throw it at me. More to come on that. But the date is important. Sunday, April 28th. So I'm going to stop talking about it right there. But good evening, everyone. Harold. Good evening. I don't think I said hi to you, did I, Harold? Sorry for that. Yeah, anything for the veterans, count me in. Count me in too. Yeah, absolutely. Very good, very good. So that's it for my notes. So I might just reiterate a little bit. What ideas do you guys have? I don't have to stay on for a full hour tonight. It's not a big deal to me if we cut it a little bit short. But, I want to give you guys a minute. If you have anything for me, just ask away. Till you do, I want to encourage people to go to randallrydes.com. Randallrydes.com is everything Randall. So whether it's the music and you're having a bonfire and you want me to come out and pick on the back porch, I will come play music and sing for you, man. It's something I am passionate about. I love doing it. When I travel on the motorcycle, I take the guitar with me, and that is how I fund my way around the country. But if you click on the Randall Rydes Fishing tab, it'll take you to the Fishin page, which most of you are familiar with by now. And if you want to do the Lewistown Fishing Charter, just use the top right here. And if you want to talk to me about doing Lake Erie, you just click on the one that's right here. So I have a calendar up here as well. You guys can click on that and check it, but it is pretty simple right now. If you go, I got some motorcycling events that I'm going through in March, but you're going to see that April and May are pretty open. Now, I'm looking at Myrtle Beach. I might possibly go to that. Not positive about that, but then you see we have paddling and bassing coming up too. That's pretty exciting in May. So anyways, go to the calendar, go to Randall Rydes Fishing. If you want to book anything, that's where you do it. If you want to order a lure, it's right there, and I'll get it shipped out to you within a few days. Yeah. So that's what's going on in the world of Randall Rydes. At Raystown Lake, guys, the docks are open. We have some salt sitting out, and that seems to be going really good. So, are there anybody have any feedback on the buckets of salt? Any issues? Any troubles with them? I don't know what that would be, but have you seen them? Are they still there? Did somebody walk with it? Yeah, Harold, I'll add that date when there's something to say about it. I don't even have, I don't even have a name for it yet. You know what I mean? I won't lock it in until we have, some level of commitment or whatever. I don't know what I'm looking for, but I'm looking for something more than just a conversation between me and my pal. But I think there's a good chance it's going to be concrete. It's just not there yet. All right, there's no snow or ice on the ramp at 7 points. 7 points is clear and open. Has anybody been down to Shy Beaver? Does anybody know if the dock is clogged up with tree limbs, leaves, ice? Is the salt bucket still there? Anybody been over to Shy Beaver? I'm sorry, you said Shy Beaver. I'm thinking James Creek when you said Shy Beaver. Shy Beaver is typically the first dock, I think so, there in Weaver Falls to freeze up, to get ice on it. So has anybody been to Shy Beaver to be able to confirm whether it's open or not? Shy Beaver is, if you want to go ice fishing at Lake Raystown, that's probably the dock that you're going to go to. But you want to know where the trees are. You kind of want to go out and just look at the bank and know where the submerged timber is. You almost have to do the scouting from the boat while you're out there and just draw a picture, mark GPS, whatever it is. Remember where those trees are so that when you go out and you drill a hole, you're on your fish. But if you're ice fishing, you already know how to do that stuff. All right, 7 points bucket is still there. Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, I think it went good. I don't think there's any issues with the salt bucket. I talked to one of the officers here last week, and I kind of, it just slipped my brain. I didn't even talk to him about the salt at the dock, but he had a lot of input for me, and I'm hoping with the Sportsman's Luncheon that we did this year, each year doing that, I might even do it for some other things that are like the events that I'm doing, like the bank angling event. I might mention something to the officers, see if they'll come down around. But if I don't really have a presentation to give, I don't want to involve them because I just want to let people fish. You know what I mean? But if there's a presentation of some sort involved, I think I want to call them and let them know because it is good to have their perspective. If for no other reason, it gets you thinking, gets me thinking differently about what I'm doing. You see like a broader picture whenever you hear it from Law. The high water, there is some debris floating on the lake to watch for. Good point. Good point. Yeah, if you're out there boating, just yeah, it's hard, man. Keep an eye out. You're still going to hit stuff because it's just under the surface. You cannot see it. You will not see it. And if it's dark out, I mean, forget it. You're just going to hit it. So really the only safe thing to do, right, is just to be off plane. Pet peeve is boaters seem to be full throttle or no wake and nothing in between. If that's you, try to break that habit. Learn how to come back, ease off and run it at half throttle and just slow your boat down enough that if you were to come into contact with something, you're on plane, so you're going good speed. But if you come in contact with something, at least you're not hitting it at full tilt. Less speed will do less damage is the point. And, of course, if you're coming into an area and you see some stuff floating, don't try to do this around it because there's stuff you can't see. Just bring it down off plane and go through that like a plow truck and just plow it out of the way until you get into clear water again and you can take it up onto an easy plane again. Just recommendations from this guy. What do I know? Just recommendations. I don't want you to bust up your lower end or something like that or mess your transom up. So expensive. So expensive. So most of you guys, you already know this. I'm preaching to the choir, to tell you the truth. But if you weren't thinking of that stuff, try to. I think you'll be a better boater for it. Sure, but there's plenty of debris at Raystown all year long. All year long. Unless it's like the middle of summer and there's just boats just plowing everything out of the way for you, there's something out there. But you guys know that. I'm talking to the locals. So good, guys. Look at the calendar. If you want to do Lake Erie, you want to fish at Raystown Lake, start shooting me some dates. I want to get these concreted in as much as I can with our community before people outside our community start reaching out to me and they kind of choke those days up. So yeah, if you got a date, you want to go out, just shoot me a message. Or if you're even thinking about going, say, hey, I'm thinking about going. I think it's going to be this week. I'm not sure which day, but I want to give you a heads up. And so I'll try to feel it out, and I'll try to keep a little block open there for you. And I'll work with you. I have flexibility, guys. It's a good place to be for everybody, I think. Good evening, Fish Kings Cutlery. Bradley, good evening. Hi, man. Should be good this spring. Hopefully we keep getting some extra water. Well, you want to fill the lake back up, huh? Keep getting some extra water. I like that. In the spring, I always wonder, like the runoff, if you went right to the feeder, wherever that runoff's coming down off the mountain, right there where it's dropping right into the water, just cast up onto the bank and drag it back in. I wonder if you pull a few things in. Wonder what might be right there feeding. I wonder. Yeah, it's good talk tonight, guys. Thank you so much for participating in the chat. That helps me out a ton. Sometimes I feel like I'm just talking at a camera. And I know you guys are there. I see in the numbers. The number, it tells me that there's people watching. But when you're interacting in the chat, it makes a world of difference for me. So thank you so much for that. And if all you did tonight was hang out and watch, I'm glad that you were here as well. Thank you for that. And all of that stuff is helping the channel grow. Before you guys leave, do me a big solid. See that you're subbed. You guys are coming back and watching over and over again. You're probably already subbed. Just double check. Sometimes YouTube does kick people or we misclick and we're not subbed. So just check. See if you are. I appreciate that. We're looking at possibly getting together Tuesday yet for a live stream. I'm not positive though. I may not be available. So if I'm going to be on Tuesday, you'll see the announcement. I'll try to put that up Monday or something like that. And if not, this was the live stream, but thank you guys for stopping in. Come fishing with me at Lake Erie. Go to randallrydes.com and, just book an appointment, send me a message. But Lake Erie, Raystown, and the lure, of course, it's all still available. So reach out to me if you have any questions, and that doesn't matter whether you're coming fishing with me or not. If you have a question about the lake, I'm happy to talk fishing, as you can probably tell. But I'm going to give it just like another minute or two, and then I'm going to sign off, guys. Last chance. If you have something you want to talk about, shoot it at me. Give it to me. I think I got it all. But keep that in mind for Sunday, April 28th. And if you guys have an idea to how to participate or contribute with that, give me a heads up, and I'll talk to my buddy about it, and we'll see how far we want to take that. And if it becomes a thing, you'll find out. I'll make sure everybody knows. All right, guys, I'm going to say goodnight. Okay, so Brock asked, do you notice they bite better when it's sunny versus cloudy for jigging? It's a very good question, and I think I know. Cloudy is better. Overcast is just better. Overcast. Absolutely. I find that I like a little break on the water too. So I'm talking about, waves of, a couple inches, 4 inches, something like that. Now, if you're casting like think of like a rooster tail style or a MEP spin or something like that, you can cast and run them shallow, and you get a lot of flash from it. But I'll still go back to it. What you want is a reduced visibility. So if you have a heavy stain water, I'll say that, yeah, when the sun's out, you're probably going to do better. I'm going to say heavy stain, but if the water's stained, sun's out, that's a good thing, because now the fish can find the bait. But if the water's clear, like it usually is this time of year, and you get a bright day, the lures there's something, they don't look quite right to them, and they'll hesitate, and you don't want a hesitation from a fish. So by having the surface tension broken up or overcast, there's a little less visibility, they hesitate less. And Brock, I don't think I'm alone on that opinion. And there's always going to be exceptions, man. And if you run that lure past them enough times, you might just get a hungry fish. It can skew your results too, because some days you can just make a fish bite. They would have bit both conditions. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think I'm in the camp of less visibility is better. Not zero visibility, right? But less. And then Paul Merritt, good evening. You say sometimes in the fall, the guys hit schools of big white perch. I'd be into that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, they start busting. You're just blowing up on the surface. Yeah, it's a blast. Blast. Quick story, and I'll let you guys go. I was on the John boat. I was out with my buddy, and we were trolling up by Snyder's. Fall. It's a perch story, and it's fall time. We're trolling around right up outside of the launch, right by the buoys there, and they're breaking. We see them down there just breaking up in this huge school, and I'm telling you, it was I don't know, 60, 70 yards wide, right? This big school of blowing up fish. And in our heads, this is years ago, we didn't know what they were. We thought, oh, there's a striper. It looks like striper busting up at the surface. So we went over there. We're pulling live bait, and we're going through there, and we keep catching these perch. And we're like, get off of here, rebaiting it, throwing it out. I was like, we want these striper. And we just keep on rebaiting it, throwing them back in, throwing the white perch back in the water. And we're like, we can't catch the striper. All we're catching is these pesky white perch. Little did we realize we were catching exactly what we were fishing for. We were just wrong. We had a great day of catching white perch. We had a great opportunity, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. When you catch them breaking up, you get a big school like that, you just can't keep them off the hook. But you got to be wise enough to know what you're fishing for. Yes, Brad, I agree. I do like the water a little bit stained. A little bit. Not a heavy stain, just a little bit. And with that, I think, guys, I'm going to say good night now. That's a full stream. I stayed on a little bit longer than I thought I would. But thank you, everybody, for stopping in. RandallRydes.com for everything, Randall. And I'm going to send you off with that. Guys, thank you so much. This has been incredible. There's just better things ahead. I have so much to talk to you guys about, but I'll see you in a few days. I'll see you in a few days. I have so much to share, man. The year ahead, I've done some soul searching and some analysis and such. The year ahead looks incredible. And you're part of that. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. So, good night to you. Much love and much respect. We'll see you in a few days. See you guys.